Hi everyone, welcome back to Gillian at Mystic Healing Therapies. So today I'm going to talk about death and dying. I am actually on my way to a funeral, that's why I'm wearing black. So yeah, death and dying then. We don't really prepare very well, do we, in our culture for death and dying. It's a taboo subject that we are not allowed to talk about, or at least it's not encouraged, is it? You know, if you start talking about death and dying, there's like a hush comes along and people start to feel remarkably uncomfortable. Now, from my point of view, I believe we're all eternal spirits having a human experience. So I am not at all afraid of death because I know that my spirit lives on and I'll just get another body to come and live in. I'm not saying I want to die, by the way. I'm more than happy to be in this earth plane doing the work, but I'm certainly not afraid of dying. Now, the last 4 years, you know, they hyped up a load of hype about staying safe and staying alive so that we take a product, didn't they? Now, those of us who really are not afraid of death and dying, we weren't so susceptible to fall for the propaganda, were we? You know, if you've got a direct connection to source, you know you are an ancient being, a being of God, an everlasting, eternal being that, yes, we might change meat suits, we might change vessels, but we are never going to die. You know, energy cannot die, it just changes its form. And that's exactly the same with human consciousness, or the consciousness of men and women. So, you know, one of my pet hates, and I'm sure this is a satanic ritual, is gravestones. I can't stand them. I've never liked them. I think they're unnecessary. And why have they only come about since the last reset in 1779, was it? 1776? If you look at any cemetery, you very rarely get many graves from before then. But it's my comprehension, and I believe that, you know, they made these a thing to set it in stone to forward the propaganda. And, you know, when I pass the spirit, I certainly don't want anybody leaving a gravestone for me. I want plant a tree or get a vase of flowers or something. But I just think that is just a bit, it's never fit comfortably with me. So another thing I want to talk about is this idea of conscious death then. So, you know, you'll see on these gravestones, fell to sleep on, or rest in peace. So we're told and we're conditioned that once we die, we either fall to sleep or that's the end of us. That's kind of like the idea. Or we get a vengeful God and we'll go to hell. You know, if you've been a good person with good intentions, you're not going to hell. We are the masters of our own karma. You know, there isn't a vengeful God that's forcing your karma upon you. You will choose your karma in order to learn the soul lessons. So we're never told all these things, are we? Now, I know, if you look at my first book, Enchanted Earth, it's available on Amazon. I talk about my last incarnation on Earth, and I had a conscious death. So when I passed from my last incarnation, I was wide awake. I did not fall to sleep. I was absolutely conscious because I knew that you could have a conscious death. So when I was last incarnated, I knew I could have a conscious death. Therefore, I didn't choose to fall to sleep. I stayed awake and stayed conscious. Now, those of you who have been down the reincarnation trap rabbit hole will know that the nefarious forces have operated a incarnation trap to force people to come back to planet Earth, and they operated this from the moon. Now, this has all been shut down. It's my comprehension that this has now been shut down. But those that fell to sleep in their slumber, you know, if you believe that when you die you're going to fall to sleep, you will fall to sleep. Your consciousness will fall to sleep. And this is when, in the past, you were susceptible to be forced into the reincarnation trap. This is shut down, by the way, now. But, you know, those souls that were able to take a conscious death have not been forced to reincarnate. Now, you know, this is my message. I'm going to talk more on this conscious death, not falling to sleep, being aware, but it involves having awareness of your spirituality before you pass to spirit, because it's all to do with when you take your transition, you will transition to wherever you believe you're going to transition to. So if you believe Jesus Christ is going to meet you at the pearly gates, for example, your death experience is likely to be a figure of Jesus Christ meeting you at the pearly gates. If you believe that you will join your ancestors, you will join your ancestors. So really, you know, what I would do is really consider your belief system before you pass to death. But nobody prepares us for this, in my culture at least. You know, in the ancient indigenous cultures, for example, in the Native American culture, if an elder realised that it was time for them to take the transition, then they would go off into the mountains to take a peaceful transition and let the body return to nature. Now, that's a beautiful way of going, I think. Anyway, I just want to say, for all of you, any of you going through a grieving process, any of you losing people in the 50s, 40s, 30s, you know, whatever, 60s, 70s, 80s, I just send you my love and know that your loved ones, they're there, they never go away, and the cord of love is eternal. So I think I shall leave you with that, and sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Love you lots.